So these different types of waves will produce different qualities of sounds. I don't mean quality as bad or good, I mean quality as in it will sound slightly different. This bit here that it says mixer, when it is down, all the way down here, you won't hear any of those sounds. But when we bring up some of these sounds, then when we play a note on the keyboard, it will make that sound heard. Okay? So, for instance, we've got the sub oscillator down here, and we can change the octave by using the sub oscillator parameter control up here. If we change the wave type, that will also change the quality of the sound. Okay? So we can get some really deep sounds with the sub oscillator. This oscillator here is one that relates to the wave that looks like this. Okay? I'm not going to go into what these waves are at this stage. So if we bring down the sub oscillator and bring this one up, then again we have a completely different sound. And then similarly, and then we've got the white noise as well. Okay? We also have this feature here, which is the audio in, so we can actually plug in a microphone or a guitar or a piano or something like that, and then we can use some of the controls that we've got here based on, well, to change the sound of the particular microphone or whatever. So we've got these different oscillators. We've got some parameters, so things that we can change for each one of these different waves. So some of them are going to change the quality of the wave in terms of pitch. Some of it's going to change in terms of the vibrato or the tremolo or whatever. But what I encourage you to do is, once you have located which one of these waves relates to which part of the mixer, you experiment with the sound that you're trying to get out of the desk. We have an envelope over here, and we have an envelope over here. This is the amplification one, so this is the one that deals with the volume of the track. So when we think about the envelope, we're thinking about the 4 different things: attack, decay, sustain, release. So if we have the attack all the way down here, the attack relates to how quickly the note sounds once you press the note on the keyboard. So if we have it down here, then it'll be a very fast attack, and if we have it up here, it will be a very slow attack. So it would be more of a kind of mwah kind of sound rather than a ding sound. The decay is the amount of time it takes from the top of the attack down to the sustain, which is the body of the note, the volume of the note. So if the volume of the note is very high, then the body of the note that we hear is going to be loud. If we bring it down so it's quite low down, then it's going to be quite a quiet note.
Soft?
Yes.
Mm.
The release is how long it takes for the note to go back down to 0, so to not hear anything at all. So we can change the way that we hear the note using this particular envelope. We have the same thing with the filter here, and the filter relates up here. So if I play a note like this, then we can hear that the attack can change the quality of that note. It takes a little bit longer for the sound to appear. Let's move this around a little bit. The brute factor is a weird one. It's a bit indeterminate. And we'll add in some sort of subtle change. To be fair, I'm not hugely sure how the brute factor works on this, but it adds in something different depending on the parameters that you've got set here. So use the brute factor sparingly and see what it will bring to the notes as you start it off. We've got the arpeggiator, which is also probably useful to look at. So if I press the arpeggiator on, we can see we've got the options here. Let's take this brute factor off. Turn on the master volume. I have to hold down the notes to make this arpeggiator work. But if I switch it from on to hold, then it will remember the notes that you were playing on the keyboard and it will hold those notes, so you don't have to keep on doing that. If we switch it off, obviously it doesn't work anymore. So we've got a tempo where we can get faster and slower. We can set the steps, so we can have it as crotchets, quavers, semi-quavers, triplets, things like that. Or we can also tap the tempo. So we can set our own tempo. If you're playing with a live drummer, you might want to do that to make it in time with the drums. We've also got different types of swing. Okay, and we can also say how many octaves we want it to go over. So in this one we've got it over 1 octave, so it's just existing with the notes we've got. If I bring it up to 2 octaves, then we can hear that the same notes are appearing but over 2 octaves, then 3 octaves, and 4 octaves. Okay. And then we've also got the mode, so the order in which it's playing the notes. So instead of playing always up, at this point it's playing it on random, but if we did it this way, then it's going up. And if I bring that down to the 1 octave, it's really, really clear where that is. Down, and then up and down as well. Okay. Let's take it off that, because that's quite a sound. And we've got some octave controls over here, so if you wanted to pitch shift the entire thing, then simply we can use the octave control, and we can also just change the pitch subtly, in the same way that the MIDI controllers we've got in 148A can change the pitch. So, very, very, very simply, we've got these waves that are generated by these oscillators. We can control the amount of each one of these waves using the mixer. When we play the notes on the keyboard, it will play whatever parameters we've got set up there. We can change the envelope of the note using the ADSR, the attack, decay, sustain, release. We've got this brute factor, which seems to be quite a random kind of thing which brings in a different quality to the sound. We've got the arpeggiator over here, which we can use to hold a note down and play something with a particular repeated pattern. And we've got, so what else do we look at? And we've got the octaves as well, so we can play over the particular octaves with the arpeggiator, as well as switching the octaves from this keyboard. So I think that covers everything I want to talk about today. I don't want to go into the filters or the LFO. I would like you to have a little experiment with this. I would like you to try and make some different sounds, remembering that these are the fundamental things which you will change. If these are all down, then you don't have any waves, you won't hear anything. As soon as we bring something up, then it's activating that one particular sound. Okay? Change these parameters that affect these waves that relate to it. Think about the sub-oscillator for some of those bass sounds, and think about using the arpeggiator to create something which is a repeated pattern. Okay? Oh. Hello, Reese. How's it going? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too.
Could someone fill Reese in on what we're doing? Were you here on Monday? So the whole thing, the general kind of project, and then start using the mini brute to create some particular sounds that you would like to use. Remembering that we've got the VT3 as well. Have you guys picked a cover yet?
No.
Okay. Have you talked about it?
Okay.
So I would decide quite quickly, because I remember when we do a cover, it doesn't necessarily need to be exactly the same. We don't need to reproduce it completely the same. We can use this technology to reimagine it so that the sound world is completely different. Okay? Do you have everything that you need?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need some microphones? Or you?
Yeah, we got 2